will be on hand to display their services and answer questions about the latest trends in home designs and remodeling. This free event is sponsored by On Top of the World Communities, 8395 Southwest 80th Street, Ocala. For more information, go to csculturalcenter.com. That's csculturalcenter.com.
Jesse is a friend. Yeah, I know he's been a good friend of mine.
All right, you already got this one, didn't you? I heard you.
That was easy.
I heard it through my headset.
She's going to go see him.
Yes.
He's in concert.
What's his name? Rick Springfield?
Rick Springfield.
Yes.
Is this his only hit?
No.
Oh, no. Living in Oz.
Look how they're defending Rick Springfield.
His best album.
He was a huge 80s musician, and of course, having a TV career didn't hurt him at all either.
What was his TV show?
General
was General
Hospital.
Hospital.
Dr. Noah Drake.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What were his other hits?
Oh my gosh. You put me on the spot. But Living
The
in
album
Oz.
had the dog on it.
Yes,
Or
Working
One
Class
Dog Nights
Hero.
or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was his first one. That's the one that this one came out.
You guys know him.
Nice.
He was defending him, too.
80s music.
All right, I know you have serious stuff to talk about. Let me just reintroduce you. Dr. Heidi Maier is in here. She's the superintendent of Marion County Schools. Kevin Christian is here. He's the public relations officer for the schools, and we're going to talk about the schools. But first, I'm going to tell you how to identify the chocolates. Are you going to get chocolates tomorrow? Do you got a chocolate giver in your life? Is that too personal?
For Valentine's.
Do you want me to send you some? I give every lady in the radio station chocolates on things.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I do. Now I'm going to tell you how to know what they are.
Well, if you get Whitman's, you know automatically.
Yeah.
Why?
They always have a diagram. Whitman's.
Oh, I didn't
the
know
one in the
that.
yellow
Yeah.
box. Always have a diagram.
Yeah, but you know why you don't like Whitman's? Because it's a sampler. Why would you want a sampler? Get the real thing.
Russell Stover? I don't know.
Yes, Russell Stover.
I don't know. All right, here we go. This is across the board. This is all chocolate what?
Chocolate etiquette.
Oh, etiquette. Okay. Let's see. First of all, look at the shape. A square candy either contains coconut, fudge, marshmallow, nougat, or peanut butter.
Well, that's too many
Narrows it
choices.
down, I
No. Now I'm going to tell you how to break it down.
Okay.
Let's see. The nougat has an N written in the chocolate. It's a little N.
It does. Oh.
Yeah, that
didn't
little
know that.
squiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an N. If there's an abstract-looking P, that means there's peanut butter in it.
An abstract-looking P.
Right. In other words, they try to make a P, but it's a drift that it might not have done quite right.
It's a poor attempt.
Right. If there's a circle, it's a marshmallow.
Okay.
Now, see? A line across the middle is fudge. I wish we had some chocolates here.
I know.
Yeah.
We need a box of
All right.
chocolates.
We
A diagonal on a diagonal line on the is caramel.
Okay, like, is this in statute or something?
Yes.
Is this across the
Chocolate
board for all
statute,
chocolate
119.
companies?
These are the universal.
Really? I never knew.
If there's a lemon flavored candy, which I know, remember one, yeah. But if there's an L, if there's an R, there's a raspberry.
Yeah, even that stretches it.
A V would have vanilla cream in it.
Okay.
An M would have maple cream.
On the
On the
candy
chocolate.
itself.
Yeah.
The chocolate itself.
I don't think so.
When the chocolate is still liquidy, then the chocolatier will put
I understand. That means every piece is hand.
I know. I
So
wondered
how do
that
the
too.
little Oompa Loompas do that?
It's all in the wrist.
Okay.
It's all in
Maybe
the
at
wrist.
Godiva. I'm not
B
thinking
is
the other ones do.
buttercream. O is orange cream.
Ooh.
You need to test that and let us know, because I'm not sure I believe in that.
I think you're right, Kevin.
The
because
best
they're
way to
more
tell is you
expensive.
bite off the corner. If you don't
There you
like
go.
it, you
You
either
put it
throw it
back.
away or put it back.
Now that's
That's
where
right,
etiquette.
exactly.
That's where you need to know your etiquette, because you can only put it back if only your teeth touched it. If your gums or your tongue touched any part of that candy, you can't put it back. So your teeth only. You know that, right? You know that rule, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No. Teeth only. No.
I think that's another made up. Okay.
Goes in the garbage.
Dude, look at your
That's
face.
made up.
I have some notes on what I'm supposed to ask you guys. How's everything going?
Fabulous.
Whatever happened with was it Evergreen, the middle school?
Evergreen Elementary.
Elementary, thank you. Whatever happened there?
Actually, we have the Department of Education coming in this week to talk with our school board to answer some of their questions. And we have not we, but there's a community group that has joined efforts, if you will, to provide tutoring to some third graders on Saturdays. So the school district will actually be providing the busing.
Okay.
We'll pick those
So what you
kids
talked
up.
about last time, that's not going to happen.
It is not going to be, the school will not be closed and the students will not be reassigned to other schools.
Oh, okay.
The school board voted 4-1 to actually bring in somebody from the outside to operate that school.
Okay.
So that's what will happen.
And what do we call that? Is that a private
Well, the
company or
technical term is external operator, but it's so new in the state of Florida that many districts are just trying it for the first time.
And do you want to give an opinion on that? You like that idea? And I know that's not what you wanted.
Well, certainly not what the superintendent recommended, but the school board has
she's right here.
ruled, and so that's what we'll do.
So if it gets better, then will they relinquish control and give it back to Marion County Public Schools?
I don't think so. If I were a private company and I was hired to manage a school and I improved its grade, I would not want to give that contract up.
That is a nice tie, by the way.
Thank you.
Just thinking. If you were broken down, I might stop and help you. I don't know. All right, so you have a spelling bee coming up this Saturday?
Yeah, no, it's actually Thursday night.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. I'm sorry.
Yes, Thursday night. It's a big deal, you know. I don't know if you ever participated in spelling bee as a
Yes.
school
I was a good
student.
speller, but when you put me in a spelling bee,
Yeah, it's pressure. Yeah.
it just you explode. You don't
But
do
these,
it.
some of these contestants, they're so intense with it, so much so that at the national level, the national spelling bee is nationally televised. It's live on
Yes,
TV.
yes. Is this a precursor to that?
It is actually.
Oh,
yes.
really? Okay.
Yes, our county, and then the winner and runner-up of our county head to the regional spelling bee, which is in Orlando. It's sponsored by the newspaper there, and then that winner goes to the national spelling bee in May. So, yeah.
And you wrote Dr. Marilyn Underwood. I'm not familiar with her name.
Oh, goodness. Dr. Underwood has been with our district for 30 years. She's a former principal, former teacher. She used to be in charge of our professional development, in charge of our recruiting. One of the neatest people you will ever find. She used to host the Christmas parade.
Oh, my.
So,
Oh, my gosh.
I think she's the perfect person to be the word caller.
What's that thing in golf where you can
Nice.
pay money to have people look the other way when you make a
A
mistake?
mulligan?
The mulligan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have those in
You
spelling.
don't have them spelling?
No, there's no mulligan. But what you do have to do, I believe, is if you would miss the word, Larry, you'd have to spell that word
Yes.
and then spell the next word to win.
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's for the final two only.
Pressure.
Oh,
All of them. That's everyone.
that may just be for the finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if one person misses, then they're out. They don't get
Correct.
a second chance.
We have 22 students participating this year.
And what are the age, the grade levels?
Usually it's middle schools.
Oh, okay.
So
Exciting.
So later on, we have a book here called "Hottest Heads of State," and it caught your attention, Doctor. And because of the next thing on the talking points is the History Fair Day
History Fair this Friday.
this coming Friday.
Oh, my gosh.
So what is that? Tell me about that.
Well, we're so excited. And you may be familiar with Science Fair, how students do Science Fair projects.
Yeah.
This is the same thing, but History Fair.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have students who have designed the presentation boards. They've designed websites. They've done papers. So it will be these students showing the great things that they have done. We've got community members who are coming in to help judge. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be at Horizon Academy. And we are so excited. Again, it's the first time we've ever done this. So, and you know my passion for history, especially U.S. history and the great things that we've done in this country. So just another way to acknowledge all the great
Have you
things.
always had that passion? When you were a little child, or did you have a passion for history?
I did. Yeah, as in both my parents were in the Army, and so I got a lot of that from my dad.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking every time something like this happens, how proud he would be. So
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Your dad's gone? He passed away?
he did, yes, yeah.
Do you know, I was not that interested in history as a younger person, but I am now. I love it now. And in a way, thinking about what you're doing on Friday, that might have helped me. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering how many kids are more like me than you, who will show up and maybe get kind of a little spark going to.
Well, this is a precursor again to the state level competition, which then advances to the national.
Oh, how wonderful is that?
You know, and
That is
there is
great.
something about, I don't know, there's mixed feelings about competition in general, but I think it makes people say, oh my gosh, I'm going to win this, and then you become better at it, whether it's history, spelling,
That's what
or
competition does. It
or
makes
video
everybody
making,
better.
the thing
Yes.
you've been involved with
Yeah.
for so long. So, all right, so what else do we need to know about that? The first ever National
ever.
History Fair Day this Friday. Okay. The state winner heads to the National History Day competition at the University of Maryland in College Park. All right.
Nice.
What else? Now, can I tell you one thing about the books that we get sometimes?
Yes.
So look at it carefully. Sometimes they're politically slanted. I don't know if this one is or isn't. I really don't know. But sometimes they are. And you have to be careful about that. And I'm sure as educators, how do you avoid that? Like when you're looking at a history book to select, like with this thing you went through recently, looking for books.
Oh, the textbooks?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's politically slanted, that's not fair, you know? If it's,
It just depends on the viewpoint of the person reviewing the book. You know, although I think some books are obviously more slanted than others, and that's in the intent of the author. But, you know,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
as a reporter, you know, everything a reporter does is still slanted to how they think or write their story.
but, yeah.
You
They
can't.
talk about hairstyling secrets in this book.
Well, it's the president.
That's
Hairstyling
right. I mean,
secrets.
some of them were really wild back then. You
Wait a
know?
minute, let me see
No,
how
not
good
just back then.
Let me see how good I am at this.
And who wore the first pair of pants?
What?
The long pair of pants.
yeah.
When they transitioned
Which-
from the
what-
knickers?
Yeah.
You mean
which
George Washington
president
wore
won?
shorts? Can you imagine that?
He wore knickers, yeah.
So his calves were showing?
No, he had socks on. Long socks.
Oh.
You never saw
Oh.
skin. So it's pretty interesting. That'd be pretty cool if it was a slant, though.
Is that Bill Murray, actually? Don't say Bill.
I don't think Bill Murray was ever president, was he?
Oh, is that Martin Van Buren? I'm just taking a guess.
There you go. That's a
Is
good
it,
guess.
Is it right? I don't know.
Good guess.
Let's see if I know who they are.
Glasses.
That's Grant, right? Is that Grant? That's
think so.
Nixon. That's the only one I really know.
Yeah.
Is that Truman? Who's this guy? Is that Truman?
I
don't
it
think
looks
so.
Pointing at pictures on the cover of a
That's
book.
Hoover.
Oh, that's Hoover? Mm-hmm. I got a vacuum cleaner that he made. Okay, next. Student reassignment deadline. What is that? Oh, that's if you want to change schools?
Correct.
Because we're a choice district, as well as having so many choices for parents and magnet programs, choice opportunities. So that deadline is February 28th, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
And the IB program, too, because that's not offered in all of the schools.
Correct.
That's correct.
At 2 high schools, and then we have 1 middle school and 1 elementary with it. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this thing that they're talking about up in Tallahassee about vouchers for bullied kids? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it addresses the problem. I
Thank
think
you.
that we have stepped up and are making great strides to address the problem. And not only do we think we should punish the bully, but we need to look at the root of the problem. Why is that child a bully? And then the child who is being bullied, we need to empower them to stand up for themselves. So it's multi-leveled, and I think just giving a voucher does not solve the problem.
I wonder if they will listen to you, because I'm guessing that most teachers exactly reflect your opinion. I'm guessing most teachers do, right? Because legislators often don't have a clue. They just think, we'll write a law, that'll fix it, right?
Right. Well, and then my question too is, so you move that child to another school. What if they're in this other private school? What if they're bullied there? What do we do
what if
there?
there's a bully?
What
Or what does the bully
accountability?
do in the school he leaves? He finds another kid to pick on. Mm-hmm. So that bully's still bullying.
Well, and again, it's our job to address that, and
Yeah.
we do. But again, what consequences are there because you can't tell me that in private schools children aren't bullied. So what
No, they are.
consequences are happening there as well?
Gio, can I ask? I'm going to say something, and then I don't want you to think that I know anything about what you do for a living. But I've often thought this: that a teacher who has like the ideal class, none of the kids misbehave, nobody's bullying anybody else. That teacher can teach those kids; they want to learn. The teacher who has the unruly kids, that's a harder job, it seems like. And yet the teacher may not get the accolades because maybe her class isn't improving grade-wise, and maybe it's not her fault. Can you comment on what I just said? Am I right? Is it not really?
I think there's merit to that. Yeah, I think you also have to consider from the teacher's point of view, when they are reaching out to students who struggle for whatever reason, that breakthrough moment, I think, is often stronger for them than what it is for a teacher who teaches students who get it all the time. Does that make sense?
But does the principal know? Does the boss, whoever gives the accolades to the teachers?
Oh, I think good teachers stand out no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what kind of students they have in the room or their abilities. You just serve on the Golden Apple Selection Committee, and you'll see that.
Oh, I believe you. You're
You
my
really-
go-to people.
really do.
So, and what about the teacher raises that they're talking about and the other union stuff? Do you have any opinion on that?
Well, we've actually settled with all three unions for the current school year, so we're in good position
Yep.
there. Yeah, we're in good
Oh, that's
position.
excellent. And you did bring up the Golden Apple, and that was outstanding. I mean, gosh, everybody
Wonderful
is
event.
so supportive of everybody else. It's just absolutely amazing.
And I have to say, kudos to Jenkins, because they gave the Teacher of the Year a car for 3 years.
Oh, my gosh.
A brand new Acura for 3 years. That's pretty amazing to
That
me.
is cool,
They don't even
yeah.
do that in the big counties, the bigger counties, I should say.
Yeah. That is nice.
Well, that's
Tremendous
great.
partnerships and support for that program.
Yeah, but our county is wonderful, and the businesses really step
Absolutely.
up for the schools.
And we're known statewide for our Golden Apple program. Other districts look to us to set the example for that. So
Oh, that's nice.
Excellent.
That's nice. Who do we credit that to? Who's
Judy Zanetti and the foundation, the Public Education Foundation.
Nice. That was a good idea.
Kevin has some to do with that too.
Wow.
I sort of wondered that, actually. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. What's the next thing on
Textbook.
here? Oh, the textbook. We sort of talked about this. Tell me what happened. 8 books going before the school board tonight? It says tonight.
Correct.
Okay.
Tonight we have a vote.
Okay.
Correct. So if the board chooses to vote on those books, then they'll move forward. We'll start planning our professional development for those for next year. And then we have another round that's going through right now, history, as a matter of fact, because the committee last time did not think that the books, the history, the civics that that were up for adoption met the criteria. So they have gone back into the cycle for that.
What were they not happy with?
That they didn't think that the depth of content and the rigor of the book was sufficient and didn't reflect our values.
Anything in history that they felt should be dealt with deeper? Like you brought up the Holocaust last time.
Right.
Is that one of them?
that we didn't examine. I didn't examine that. I know the committee did.
Did you hear about this guy in Illinois running for the Congress? He says the Holocaust didn't happen. Did you hear about this guy?
Yeah, he
What
said
the heck?
that.
How is anybody with that attitude ever even considered?
Let's just move on.
Well, I don't know.
What I have to say wouldn't be very nice about that.
Me either.
Do
But
we
that's
have?
okay. I think it's okay to be unnice to somebody who's unnice.
Well, if you're putting yourself out on the there on the political trail with that kind of position, you either don't have all your marbles together, or you're intentionally doing something to incite some kind of reaction from the public.
Yeah, that might be true too.
And mentioning that, we are organizing our Holocaust Memorial Week with working with Mayor Gwynn.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
we're excited about that. So April 15th will be the big ceremony at Westport High School. So we'll get you more information on
Nice,
that.
nice.
Excellent.
Speaking of history, wasn't General Eisenhower, or was he president at that time, made a really smart decision, right, by having photographs taken of the Holocaust victims. He said, just take lots of photographs. They're not pretty, but take them because we don't want anybody to ever forget. Yeah.
When you get the textbooks now, are they virtual textbooks? Does everybody have an iPad, or do you still have the textbooks in your hand?
It's such a misnomer. People think in this day and age of electronics that every book is electronic. And even if every book was electronic, we would still pay the textbook price, because you have to remember textbook publishers earn their money by the textbook. Usually the electronic version is offered along with the printed version. So I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we have no printed textbooks. But that is part of the requirement, at least as I understand it from the state, that you must have an electronic version to go along with the printed version. Because not every student has an electronic device.
And do the textbooks go home with the students, or do they stay at the schools?
Both scenarios. Both scenarios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
We have some schools that have what they call classroom sets, which are books that the kids can use during the day, and then they already have a book at home. So they don't have to carry them back and forth.
Oh, how wonderful. That is great.
That is a modernization of what we went through, right? Carrying books all over
Carry
the
every
place.
book to every class every
Backpack,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think all of these books will be approved?
I think
All 8?
well, we're confident in the choices, so that will be up to the board, but we think so.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
All right. So that means every school board member has to read all these books, huh?
Yes.
They have to do their homework.
To vote.
No comment. By the way, this book, The Hottest Heads of State, gives you the presidential pickup lines. I can't wait to read that book. Like, how did George get Martha?
Yeah.
Right?
There's a bunch of one-liners in there. We're not going there. We're not going there.
Oh my gosh, I already asked you about Evergreen Elementary. Anything else you want to say about that one? No?
No.
Okay. The millage referendum on the August ballot. This is a way to add more money to the, so that you guys have more money?
Well, it's a renewal of the millage that's already in place that voters approved 4 years ago.
Right.
It's a full mill to pay for art, music, PE, vocational education, and retain highly qualified professional teachers. So
And reading.
And reading, yes. So it covers really the gamut. And currently that referendum provides about $15-16 million a year, which pays for about 450 units or 450 positions in those subject areas that I just mentioned.
When we look at the actual numbers per person, it's always so small. When you say millage rate, you think, oh my gosh, this is going to be a huge tax. But am I right about this? Do you know the numbers? It's like
It's not like $500. No, I mean it's not a.
It's really small per person per year, right?
But it is only for property owners.
Right. Well, it trickles down to the tenant, I think, of a rental property. I would hope if you were the owner that you said, you know what, I don't live there. Let me get the renter to pay this.
I don't know, but all I can say is thank you to the voters for voting it in last time, because it has made such a huge impact for our
gives you
students.
the
When you hear about
resources.
all the great vocational programs that we're doing and all of those new initiatives, that's thanks to the referendum. Our ability to make sure that our libraries have media specialists in there every day. Kids have a full-time art, music, PE teacher. That's because of the referendum, and that's huge, and we are so grateful.
So that's why we have to pass this, because if it's not passed, then that might go away, or...
Well, in the way it was previously, those programs were cut in half. So one art teacher taught at 2 schools, one music teacher taught at 2 schools. So in essence, students received half of that amount of time in each of those areas.
So we need to pass this then.
By law, we can't say that.
Oh, okay, I can.
Really?
We need to
You
pass
can.
this.
Really?
Correct.
Well, here's
Take care of our students.
Let me give
We need that.
my 2 cents on art and music. Once upon a time, like when I was younger, to have a career in art basically meant you were going to draw floating underwear for commercials in the newspaper, because nobody could be seen in underwear. This is probably before your time. I was told this. I was an art student, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to be so boring. Now, because of video games and YouTube and everything, art is really a choice that can be a real career for somebody.
Absolutely.
It's not drawing floating underwear anymore. It's amazing what artists are doing now. The same thing is true with music. I mean, back in my day, you either were going to be a pop star, which was 1 in a gazillion, or you were going to be playing trombone in a band where nobody got paid, hardly, if at all. You know, except for the few exceptions, the ones who got a job at the London Symphony Orchestra or something like that. And you know this because you're a musician. So, but again, because of YouTube, because of video games, composers and musicians really have an opportunity to take those skills they learn and really make a living with that.
Well, that, and also we have the research that shows that music and art have a direct impact on the academic subjects.
On everything else.
It does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a believer in the aesthetic part of art education, knowing the great impact it has on those traditional academics, it's huge and it's so important to our kids.
Not to mention it balances your life.
Yes.
It does. You have to have that creativity.
Everything you just said was true in the 60s.
It's been true all the time.
Right.
We just didn't realize it as a society.
Maybe so. But what I'm saying was not true in the 60s. You couldn't really make a living as,
I understand.
as an artist or a musician unless you were lucky.
Yeah.
Now, you really, it's really
You can create your
career.
own career.
It's a really a
You
career.
really can
All right.
now.
More choices for our kids, more opportunities.
Exactly.
And so that's why I support it. Okay, we got
Thanks.
2 minutes and 10 seconds, something like that. Okay. So what's coming up?
Well, we have all kinds of, this is a great segue here, Larry, all kinds of music programs coming up in our district. We have the High School Concert Band Festival. That's at Westport on February 26th. I believe that's a Monday evening. I have the joy of emceeing that event for the second time. I'm a musician, so I love doing that.
It's a
and
wonderful
talking about it.
festival.
Really is, really
It
is.
is wonderful.
Then 2 nights later, we have the Elementary Honor Choir. That's at the Riley Center, which is a lot of fun for those kids to be able to go into a theater like that and be on that stage
It's
and sing and
amazing.
perform. March 22nd, which is after our spring break, that is the Charlie Dixon Music Festival. Of course, Charlie Dixon, legendary in music education, and his daughter was a former principal of ours. And that's held at
Nice.
First Baptist
Nice.
Ocala, and that parents pack that place out. That's a huge event that night. And then, of course, we have the Student Media Festival on Friday, April 13th.
Yes, we'll be there.
That's important.
We will be there.
And
Thank you guys
love
for
the
confirming
children.
as judges and presenters. We
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. Yay.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you both for coming in. Ready? Who's this?
Oh, that's Cindy
Girls
Lauper.
just want to have fun.
What? You don't even have your headset on. How'd you know that? What do you hear it through the headset on the table?
Yeah, your headset.
Oh, you hear it
your
through my
headset.
All right, who's this?
Oh, Dead or Alive, Spin Me Round.
Gosh.
Pete
All right.
Burns.
Who's this? Who's this?
He was on Celebrity Big Brother in England. Oh, that's the Hooters, and we did. they're from Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh.
I have no clue.
This was fun.
You are so great.
Have a
You
great
and Kevin are fun.
Mardi Gras. Have a great Valentine's
Thank
Day.
you.
Now you know how to tell which chocolates are which. I know you doubted me, but
I'm going to check that theory out.
all right. Thank you, Kevin Christian.
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Heidi Maier.
Thank you.
And the bigger thank yous for what you do for our children. Thank you all. We will be right back.
She was a bebop baby on a hard day's night. She was hanging on Johnny, he was holding on tight.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The president tweeting this morning negotiations on DACA have begun.